No Fisher random this time. Let's go. D4, and in response to D4, what do? Well, you play knight F6, you play D5, you make a move fast because it's Blitz. Most flexible move? Okay. Well, I've played this many times. Could be entering what? Nimzo-Indian, and why not? Let's go for it. I do have to take into account this advance. I don't have very many choices on that third move. It's either D5, it's bishop out. Some action needs to be taken against the possibility of E4, and I'm forced into it now. I do this with the intention of giving my bishop up. I don't want E4 to be played real soon. And I think this is the first correct move, seeing how I no longer have a dark square bishop. Guess where my pawns want to be. Without the dark square bishop, they want to be on dark to compensate for that. Light square bishop has light. Pawns on dark have dark. Queen C2 is facilitating E4, but should I be afraid of that? Should I be afraid is the big question. No. I'm not going to be afraid. E5. If there's pressure on it, I defend. And if there's a push, I play here. Now, wait a second. What is going on with that? Okay. Well, I'm thinking about H6 just to prevent any bishop G5 pin nonsense. Maybe. Is there something more direct? My opponent is how many moves away from castling? 1, count them, 2, 3. Knight, bishop need to move 3 moves away. Let's see. My opponent has the bishop pair. If I play here and pawn push, well, what's really happening? What's one way to categorize that particular move? Well, it's closing the position up, and the knights are usually excited about closed positions. I'm thinking actually C5 and then knight C6. It's another possibility I have available. Or what else? Well, I think I like this right away, but I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Let's do this. That knight could come to F3 at any moment, and in response to it, I think I just want to play knight here. I'll want to be cautious of the following. If I play knight c6 and my knight gets pushed around with d5, my knight, once it plays to a5, is accessible to this queen with queen a4 check. So I want to keep in mind, in other words, that when I play here, my queen is going to be around to defend this knight, and she is. She can't be kicked away, or can she? Bishop here could turn out to be a bit annoying. I think I'm wanting to play this soon. And actually, if the bishop plays here, okay, it's not playing there. What do? Actually, this is fine now. I support that pawn, and I'm also supporting my knight when it plays here. But there still are some tricks with maybe captures in this direction, and after I recapture like this, I might be dropping that e-pawn. My queen, I think, wants to play to one of these two squares, and I do best to maintain a pawn in the center, so that's why I'm going with the pawn instead of the knight. This rook is going to give me a little bit of a scare, but I'm not afraid of that. It's just a quick scare. I sidestep it. So how do I sidestep it, you might be wondering. Queen here defends the knight and gets out of the rook threat. Queen here doesn't defend the knight and gets out of it. If I play here, the bishop move right here could be annoying. And if I play queen e7, queen a4, I could play here and break the pin and then threaten discover checks. I think I'll be quite alright if the queen decides to pin this unprotected knight. You really better have a good solution if you have an unprotected piece and your opponent is able to make a move that is A, going to pin the piece, and, well, if you have an unprotected piece that could be pinned, you better have a convenient response to it, because you'll want to do two things in such a situation. A, break the pin, and B, defend the piece. It's not always easy to find a move like that. I do have one available in this instance. Bishop d7 would satisfy both of those conditions. I don't see any reason not to just follow through with getting more development in. Castle. I'm a single move away from being fully developed. If you're new and listening in, fully developed means having your rooks in direct connection with one another. My bishop has a role right now, and that role is to watch over f5. I don't know if, well, how about knight here? Oh, if I take here, queen recaptures and is defending the knight. I think there's something to this. I'm gonna do this. What am I missing? I'm on the knight. I'm on the bishop. Knight here. Chop, chop, chop. We could have a structural change in a split second right here, at any moment. Okay. Let me kill this knight, and then kill that bishop. Now, well, I want to be cautious. Well, I better do something here. Let's see. If I take that, I'm down on time too. So if I take here, pawn takes, of course, and f6 is a threat that I don't have a good solution to. I'd like to have my knight right here in that case. Chop, chop, pawn push, f6 still. And chop, chop. If I do this, then I'm weakening my light squares a real lot. So I'm actually not going to take that bishop because of this pawn becoming... I don't like having this f-file open up. And with this exchange, the position does open up a bit more, and I have the knights, which is not the best pieces to have in an open position. So I have to go quicker here too. 35 Tikaruskis remaining. I'd like to have the queens off the board. Can I make that happen? We're going to see about that. I'm preparing to just get my queen right behind that, and well, I better go with this right now. And then open this up. Fortunately, I have a flight square, and I think I become really active right now. I think everything is protected. These pawns could be plucked off or picked off really soon. Checks. Grab a knight. Grab the pawn here with my knight. I'll be hesitant to grab this pawn because then it allows for both the queen or bishop to function along this light square diagonal. Queen e3 is available. I'm just going to do this and then get this pawn. And I'll be getting this one next. I want to trade off something here. I'd like to get one of the bishops. I'd love to have the queens off the board at this point. Time is the biggest factor. And check. I have to go quick. Queen needs to be careful. I'll go with this, defend that pawn. And now this is leading to mate. Can you believe this? This is mate. It's leading to mate. H3 was needed. There's only blocks. Uh-oh. I wasn't the one under time pressure. There's no need to go that fast, right? Okay. Let me go back. Good game. Let's see here. Let's get one in here. Going back. Okay, so Nimzo-Indian. What else? A3 forces my hand. Main idea is to do something about this e4 advance. So bishop taking out the knight removes a supporter for that e4 advance. Queen c2 is... What do you do with queen c2? I think there's... I think there's an f3 e4 move here, or you can also baby step it maybe with e3, bishop out. I've seen f4 and then a later e4. I don't know that the queen really needs to be on c2 to help out with this advance. You could look into f3, e4. I'm just throwing out some rough ideas here. And I don't know who stands better, to be honest. I'm actually cringing a bit. I don't know that taking this bishop is going to be good for me at all. Especially with the rook eventually being able to land on this d5 square. I guess that's another reason for wanting to bring this knight back to f6. Although I didn't reference that during the game. It is watching out for that square. My main problem with taking the bishop was this f6 move. I need to stop this advance by playing here. Playing my queen here, it's almost like I'm assigning her a role of just stopping a pawn from moving, and that's not a good position to have your queen in. So that's why I was coming back at this point, but there had to have been something better here for white. So what might have been better? I wonder if there's, well, it might seem a bit crazy, but I wonder if you could be running in with g4, h4, g5 or something, and then trying to get in f6, or maybe something with f4. I think if you could also go with a solid setup, maybe just doubling on this d file, or I'm seeing even possibilities for exchange sacrifices. You know, rook to d5. If I'm taking undoubling your pawns, you're creating a passed pawn, you're kicking my knight to a not so great square. It seems like it's something that might be available to you. But I think just stay solid in this type of position. I don't know that there's any. Oh, this right here, yeah. When I get this pawn break in, I think things start to turn, even though you have the bishop pair. My knights actually have pretty decent homes, and my queen becomes very active, and I'm pretty sure I have the safer king. It's tough to get at my king. This pawn is helping out my king, actually. This pawn acts as a defender. So, okay. I don't know. Where's my suggestion? Right here? Okay, I guess there's maybe, and it's a committal move. You are pushing your pawns out in front of your king, but I think there's maybe something to it. A g4, h4 idea, or maybe just go with the calmer, or just doubling on the d file. I don't know if this move is needed. It's tough to say. Interesting middle game position right here.